So, welcome to basically the weekly call, the Q&A, the mastermind, whatever the frick you want to call this. It's a recording of the whole mastermind that we've done so far. This is just a quick intro for what we're going to be covering. We're going to do this with other community members too. You could join the community below this video, and it's completely free. We talk about pages, Instagram pages, how to make money from it. You could check out more videos on my YouTube too for it. So yeah, enjoy. There we go. There we go. Awesome. People dripping in. Drip, drip, drip. There we go. Awesome, guys. Well, I'm not sure where I can see and hear people. There we go. It's slowly starting. Victor, glad to have you here, man. Bryce,
Yeah,
see
Alex.
you. I saw you last week too. Of
Hey,
course,
what's going on?
Brit. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome, awesome. So we'll probably see some other people dripping in too. Typically the calls aren't super busy, so I guess you just have 1 hour free time of mine. Also for Victor and Bryce here, Brit is one of our private clients too. So she just sits in these calls as kind of like a bonus one for free, right? Since we do this one specifically every week for our private client, or sorry, for our school community, the free clients. So yeah, I have a few things to share with you guys as well during the call. We're just going to start out with a couple of questions. Also maybe some page analysis from you guys, checking out certain things, maybe page breakdowns, like specific pages that you see and you want me to break down and see how they're making money, or break down how they're getting followers, or whatever you want me to show you. Um, During the call at the end, I'm going to share something with you that I think could change your life in terms of more like I'll just share it then. I won't cover too much of it now, but I've done it for like 2 days now, and it has been the craziest experience I've had so far. And all of you guys can do it literally after the call if you want to. So it's a nice hook to start the call with, but it's really sick. I'm gonna share all the files and everything at the end of the call. But I'm very curious what your experience will be. So let's get into some questions and page analysis now. I don't know who wants to go first. Raise your hand or do a dance or whatever, so I can see what type of question you have.
I just want to say hello to everybody. I'm the first time here. I don't know where we are all from. I will listen quiet to everything you will share. And if there are some questions, I will raise my hand. But so far, I have not brought with me some questions. I'm excited to listen today.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, if you wouldn't mind, like, if you want to, go ahead and introduce yourself to people, like Vision Coaching, if I pronounce that right.
Smart coach. I'm 46. I'm from Germany. I'm living in the south of Germany in Bavaria. I'm a father of a small daughter with 7 years, and I'm interested in everything how I can make income automatically. So with 47, I grown up with a phone you would see in a museum. So that means you have 30 years ago we have no idea that some time it will be possible to make a business out of it with a phone. So this is where you perhaps are growing up with my daughter as well. For me,
Yeah.
it's a small jungle. I use a phone, yes, I do, but for sure not the same like I could. So therefore, I'm very excited. What kind of journey is in front of me?
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. No, cool. And I guess like from your side, like what intrigued you to learn about like this online world? Because obviously you didn't grow up with it, so it's a pretty high level of entry.
Sorry, Alex, repeat it.
Like what moved you towards like this specific like online type of thing that you want to learn from? Because obviously it's like not a super high, it's a very high level of entry for you to start with something like this. So I'm just
Uh,
curious, like, yeah.
Nothing I have to hide. It's a private situation.
Mm,
I'm a father of a 7-year-old girl, and I'm grow her up on my own without mother. So that means we have to find time for the school, for the future, for common time, and 9 to 5 is not fitting to what I
Mm,
want to have. So that means to find a way to earn money from every part of this on Earth is what I'm looking for. So that means you can go on the ETF market or so on. I can buy bitcoins, but this is what have to grow. That means it will not bring you an income
yeah.
tomorrow. But as well, the theme page will not bring you the money tomorrow, but it's
Mm,
something what I can use with the knowledge in a lot of my projects. So this is not the only one.
mm,
So that means this is knowledge which I
yeah.
can put in my head and give perhaps further to my daughter. And if it's possible to have the time that I want to have to share with her, this is my main goal.
That's awesome, man. Do you have any like questions or things you want me to break down in this call?
No, not for the moment. Just go on. The
All right.
questions are always coming on the road.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you being here too. Obviously, like the thing with free calls, people take them for granted, especially with free calls. And I appreciate all of you guys, obviously, for being here too. At the end of the day, you can take a hard approach with the communication, say, well, you guys can be here or you don't be here. I don't care, whatever. But I do care. I do care if you show up or not because it is my time too. And, at the end of the day, I do what I do because I really like to see the transformation in people. Not per se in income and money and followers, but more in like the people they are going to become through it and like kind of them reinventing, right? Like for example, Bryce, I'm not sure if you've created your page yet, but the thing with creating a page, you have to break so many beliefs, like beliefs of how you think that you were using Instagram before, the beliefs of being able to gain followers or not, being able to get your first 100K views, whatever, right? So many different belief breakers. And that's like the most fascinating thing to me, at least, because there's a lot of new stuff, right? You've basically just been trained to use Instagram in a specific way for quite a while, and then you just use it in a different way. So, Bryce, do you have any questions or things you want to cover in today's call?
Yeah. Um, the last call that you did, not last week, but the week before,
Mm,
you were talking about how you systemize your day out the night before.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
that's something that I have trouble with.
Mm,
Is like I'll like think I can do something through the day,
yeah.
but I really don't get to it and I don't do it.
Mm.
So I was just wondering how you like systemize your day. Maybe it can help me.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. And do you feel like the main bottleneck for you is actually the systemization of your day, or is it the actual task?
Um, I would say the systemization of it.
Mm. And when you, for example, procrastinate, as you say, like you basically start with a task or well, you don't start with a task, you see it on your calendar, maybe. Like, do you use any systems to like a software or
No,
something to, okay,
all in
so
my head.
and what do you feel when you like started with it? Do you feel like overwhelmed, or is it more that you don't know how, or fear, or
Sometimes I don't know, um, how do I say it? Sometimes I just don't know how to start.
Hmm,
Or
interesting.
if I do start it, because I am the type of person who's wanting to like start something and then like make sure I get it done.
Hmm.
But if I hit a problem, it like discourages me.
Makes
So I don't
sense.
want, and then it stresses me out, and then I struggle with it, and then I get aggravated, and
Mm.
that's bad. So
And do you feel you do a lot of like different things throughout the day, or is it like pretty the same things?
sometimes I do different things throughout the day. Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Then pretty much in software, I don't think that's really the problem, honestly, but I'll just cover software first so you kind of have like a little nugget to go for it. Because a lot of times people think that like systems, I think so too, systems are actually the problem, but they aren't, Systems are just an easy thing to blame so that when you believe you have structure, you will be able to do it. But a fun fact is Einstein actually said that he spent 90% of the time thinking about the task and 10% execution. right? And that's one of the biggest takeaways that I got from like that specific quote, that every single time I actually was going to do a task, I was going to make it so freaking specific. The more specific you make it, the easier, or sorry, the harder it will be to fail and the easier it will be to succeed. So what I mean with like making it specific as well is breaking it down to the T. Like one of the techniques I use for it too is just visualizing. Visualize yourself doing the actual task in real time. If you don't know,
Mm.
if you can't flow through it, then there's something like a hurdle, right? Maybe something you need to learn, something you don't know yet, etc. If you can make the whole thing that you're going to do your task super specific with subtasks, as if you're doing it right now, it will probably
Mm.
remove a lot of like the constraint that you feel, especially with like starting with it, but also doing it and going through it at the moment. So that's like point number one. Systems, point number two, is pretty much like breaking it down in super tiny pieces. The third part is pretty much making it more enjoyable. In my
Mm.
opinion, humans, they face a lot of fear, anxiety, doubt, etc. whenever they do something new. Because in my opinion, it's all like backtrack to like instinct and survival. We get like really triggered by certain things. That's why like money is a really big issue for people, because money is tied to survival. People get so high in anxiety, and that's created through belief. But we won't cover that in this call. But pretty much make it more enjoyable, because if you do something new that you don't know yet, it's like a dark void that you're gonna have to jump into. If you're not used to doing that, and if your approach and mindset like isn't in the right state, as I would call it, which sounds a bit woo-woo, but if it's not like that you're used to jumping in voids, it becomes very hard. So basically the level of entry of doing the task is like way higher, which means that you can make the task more enjoyable. What I mean with more enjoyable is, first of all, break it down so you actually know what you need to do. And then
Mm.
what I used to do before to make it more enjoyable too is the day before I went to bed, I already planned out my day. So I knew what I was going to do, right? Specifically. So then I visualized in my bed me going through the task and acting as if it was the best task that I ever did. So that like everything would go perfectly according to what I thought was going to do. So then once I started, I created kind of like a feeling of excitement for starting it. And then I kind of flow through it better. Then a second technique, which pretty much worked for me a lot, is music. Make it fun. Make it laugh at it, right? It's the same thing as in the gym. When I hit a plateau for pain, right? Struggle, when the struggle became really real, instead of being like, oh shit, I want to give up. Don't do that. Start laughing,
Mm.
right? It's very, very like contradicting, but what you will train, at least this is all experience based on me, right? Take it with a grain of salt, but experiment with it. For me, it just made me flow better, because it just, I don't know why or how or where or when, but try to test it for yourself. So pretty much to answer your question, to make it simple, systems you use to keep a visual with a lot of things going on so you don't lose track of things. Second
Mm.
is you make a task freaking specific. Act as if you're going to do it right now. If you don't have a clue with a certain step, or you're misstepping, or you have a feeling that you don't know exactly how, where, or what, or when, or where, whatever, then you need to first learn it. So a subtask could even be, let's say a task for you would be start an Instagram page. Then it's like create your username, create your bio, create this, create that, right? You have like a sub list. But then under sub list, you have another sub list. And that sub list is about learn how to make a username. Then under the
Mm.
sub list of learning how to make a username is find someone who can teach me how to make a username correctly, right? So then the first
Mm.
task you actually start with is researching who can help you, right? And this is such an easy and simplistic way to move through a task. And besides that, not putting like very high expectations on it for yourself. For me, what I do right now is I actually plan my entire year out in quarters, right? Like the quarters of the year. So I've like every 3 months is one quarter. So January, February, March, right? That's my first quarter of the year. Then I reflect on it also with finances or business plans or whatever, but it's not like super relevant for you right now. But what it helps me do is on a month-to-month basis, and even week to week, and even maybe day to day, maybe that's more applicable for you, give your day or a month or a week a theme. So what I mean with a theme, this could literally be finance day. This could be workout day. This could be anything as a theme for a day. This means your brain capacity and your brain power and your focus goes completely towards that one topic. And it creates a sense of urgency too, because you can only have that day once a week. This means if you fucked up that day, you will have to wait a week to have that day again. It's just one technique or a strategy or whatever you want to call it to make it more effective for you. But that's what I would suggest you do. Like you can even theme your months, you can even theme your quarters, you can even theme your years. The year I'm in right now, in terms of the theme, is building. Building, recreating, and creating. That's my theme. So I need to be flexible with recreating and creating new things. I can't get stuck in certain routines. Like I have to be very flexible. So for me, meditation, a lot of different things help with that to not get like super high in anxiety. But it helps me keep focus. Whenever I feel I've no direction, I just check, a calendar or whatever I have, like theme of the year is this. Okay, cool. That's my focus. Then under that, you can have day-to-day themes, week-to-week themes, right? It really depends what you want to do. But I think that could really help you. So to kind of summarize, first, make it more fun. Make it more fun in terms of the task itself, like make it more enjoyable to actually go through it as well. Then second, to make your tasks more specific, right? Make them very, very specific and digestible. Go through it completely step by step by step by step and make subtasks so you're not like dependent on a task to figure it out. Make it very specific, the task itself. Then obviously, you can obviously use a schedule as well to like put it in the calendar for yourself and then make it more enjoyable. Make it more enjoyable for yourself. And then a last tip could be, for example, visualization, right? Visualize yourself going through the task tomorrow and then like having tremendous success with it because we as humans are meant and trained to survive. What this means is that we always think in problems. So whenever we face something, boom, right? Problems. We're very good in problem solving. If I, for example, ask you right now, how do you fail at an Instagram business? You could tell me a better answer than how do you succeed with it? Why? Because we're trained
Mm.
that way. Another technique to apply, like one little side one, is inversion. Inverted thinking. So let's say you don't know exactly what's needed to succeed with a business or succeed with a plan or succeed with a routine or whatever. Ask yourself the question, what does it take for me to absolutely fail completely miserably with this thing? Make a list of that, right? For example, with the Instagram page that you start, don't start a page. Don't have a username. Have a shitty name. Don't post content every day. Don't know how to post the content, right? There's a whole list of things that you would not do to fail, right? Then flip them around. Those are going to become your action items every single day, as just an example. So it's just one little technique that you can also apply. But do you feel that kind of answer your question, or do you still feel like, you know,
Yeah.
a bit vague?
No, no, I think you answered my question. Because I had signed up for something to help pretty much give me a plan to help plan out my day, but they want me to pay for it to help them plan out my day. So I
Honestly,
don't,
no.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what I would literally do if I were you is I would literally limit my inputs a lot. And with inputs, I mean everything to do that can have you high in anxiety or tasks that you need to do or responsibilities that you have or even food or sleep or whatever. Try to really look at like what are all your inputs every day? What you hear, what you see, what you smell, what you obviously put in your mouth too, right? Let's say you put sugar in your mouth, it's probably likely that you're going to be higher in anxiety, which means that that creates doubts, fear, it gives you a bad feeling. So we as humans are all based on feeling, very based on feeling. But in terms of the tools, literally just use this calendar, right? Like it's called calendar.google.com, and you could just structure out your whole day. So I'll just show you like how to give it a certain structure. It's pretty easy to do too. So what you can do is first obviously go to the calendar, make a email, which you probably already have, and then just put in whenever you wake up, right? So you just have a visual of your day. Later on, it's better to add a lot of things in first and then take it away than not add in anything and be like, oh, I still don't have structure. So you go to the calendar, just click, right? You make like a block. And let's say you wake up at 8 a.m., right? You can like drag it to make it longer, but also shorter. So let's say I drag it to make it shorter. It's like a 15-minute event. So pretty much I can name it Wake Up, right? And how you can actually make this more fun is to have an emoji here, right? Something like that. Now, let's say you have a routine for waking up. First, you can click save as an example. But what you can do is you can have like a whole, like, how do you say that? It's in Dutch, a description. So you can have a description of what are you going to do during the waking up, right? So you can even make a list of different things that you're going to do first. For example, 8:50, I'm going to have a shower, right? 8:10, walk outside, right? So you can make a whole list of different things that you do if you want to make it complicated. I would also recommend you to turn off this alarm thingy right here. Like you see this alarm, this right
Yeah.
there. Click X on that because you don't want to get reminded to wake up. Like you just want to have an alarm on your phone or wherever and wake up, right? And also make sure that you always wake up at the same time. It's very, very important. What you can also do is, as a quick side note, is you can do this test. It's called chronotype test to figure out what your biological clock is. So it's just a free test that you can do. I'll drop it in the chat too. And what this will do, it will literally give you an answer with what type of like chronotype you are. And at the beginning, you might think like, no, but I would really recommend testing it out for like a month, maybe 2 months, and you will see that you will sleep and function way better. For example, for me, I had a belief that I needed to do a lot of things 3 months ago, right? So I woke up, my heart rate was insanely high. I was like super, super stressed, super high on stress straight away. Like I felt super high in anxiety. And I was convinced of myself that I needed to do, I need to go, 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 and hurry, 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 task this, that, boom, boom, clack, So it didn't work. And for me, I had to believe that when I slept past 7 a.m., even if it was 1 minute, that I was wasting my time, that I was ruining my day, right? This very hardcore belief. And this is kind of the dark side of the self-improvement journey that people don't really talk about. But you want to make it fun, right? The more fun, the more love, the more flow you have through things, the easier it will be. It's not about adding in a billion things. It's about doing a few things really, really good and really gaining that like intuitive experience with doing so, and then letting the experience level you up in skill. So to come back to what we're saying here, schedule out your day, right? Just keep it very simple. You can even give it different colors. You can, for example, right click on this and then you can give it red, right? Then what you could say is work block 1. So you could even structure out your days in work blocks, right? Work block 1 or 2 or whatever. You want to obviously make sure that like the alarm is off of it, so you don't, like get reminded by something like a work block. Or if you want to have a reminder, you can also do that. You can have this app on your phone too, so it reminds you before an event actually starts. I did this with like 5 minutes before the event. I let it remind me. Then pretty much you can scroll down, you can add in whatever, right? You can add in whenever you go to sleep. You can add in like so many different things. I would just recommend like checking out for yourself, like what do you want to add in, what's relevant for you, and then just adding and crossing and doing whatever with it. What you can also do is you can make certain events repetitive. So let's say you go to this event, work block, right? Then you can also say right here at the top. It's in Dutch, but just here. You can say daily, weekly on Wednesday. You can make it repetitive in whatever way you want to. So let's say I say daily, I say save, then this will show up every single day as you can see. But let's say I change this right now and I drag it, then this pops up. And if I say edit everything, then it will edit everything, right? It's just a very simplistic way of doing it. But I would first kind of map out your day in like a very overall like view, and then make it just super specific what you're going to do. Like make it super, super specific. Like what I would do for planning out my day is you could do it in work blocks like this, but you can also just have like tiny tasks, right? Like task one, and then a summary of it, right? Research IG page, right? So the calendar is used to put tasks in. Is not to map out a whole project. First, if you have a big task that you need to do, map it out in somewhere else. Something that I use is Notion or Google Documents. Just write out what you're going to do, write out like task 1, all the subtasks, right? So then once you want to schedule things in, you take a look at the document, you take a look at this, put it in, and then before you end everything off for the day, before you go to sleep, check your entire day for the day tomorrow, and then just really like that's the last thing you see before you go to bed. Don't watch YouTube videos, don't go on your phone or whatever. Like I don't go on my phone like 2 hours, 3 hours before I go to bed, so I don't get distracted with anything. You know, I don't want to fill my brain up with things. I want to have a very high quality sleep. So then I can put all my brain focus on this too. So then I can flow through the tasks. And the more you do this, guess what? It becomes a habit. And now you don't even have to visualize this shit. You will automatically do it, right? So first,
Yeah.
you just got to practice. You could just got to start with something, map this all out, get used to it. So like now I call it like kind of the 3 phases in doing something, especially with doing something new. First, you have the struggle phase. Struggle phase is the hardest to get to. And the struggle phase is very easy to um fail in and to quit in and to have a lot of doubts in and pretty much to spend your time on the wrong things. So in the struggle phase, in my opinion, the best way to get through it, make it specific and make it fun. The more fun you can make it, and even acting, right? Like act as if you're really like enjoying it. Act as if you're laughing at it. Act as if, it's the best thing in the world. Meanwhile, high in anxiety, high in fear, whatever. But the point is, the more attention you give to something, the more it will grow, right?
Hmm.
So that's the first part, the struggle phase. You have to become super aware of this. The more aware you can become of the struggle phase, the easier it will be to create it as a trigger. This means whenever I start something new right now, for example, 1.5 or 6 months ago, I did skydiving, right? I jumped out of an airplane. I was scared to shit. I was damn, but the struggle phase, I was super aware of. The struggle phase was the doubts before sitting in the plane. There was a whole process to it, but you have to commit to it, obviously. But that struggle phase, once you become aware of it, you just say to yourself in your head, you're like, oh, Alex, I'm in the struggle phase, man. Let's go, right? Like that's the approach you want to have with it. Make it super fun. Dance in the
Hmm.
struggle phase. Have fun music in it, right? Just make it super enjoyable. And in my opinion, the more enjoyable you can make it, the easier it will be for you to go through it. Same thing with fitness, same thing with everything. But here are a few mistakes that people make. People pivot and they project and they turn to other people a lot of the times when they're insecure about something or when they don't know something, right? So what happens is, let's say you're in the struggle phase, a very common mistake people make is that they actually start asking for advice. Meanwhile, they already know what the fuck they need to do, right? For example, what was
Hmm.
your experience going in the plane? Or what would you do if you were, like all these different questions that at the end of the day don't fucking matter. Like they really don't. Because if you never experienced it for yourself before, no one will be able to tell you how it will be for you. Literally no one. Every single time someone asks you or says, this is good for you, Bryce, right? Even your parents or people around you, whoever, even if they mean well, they don't have a fucking clue. Like literally. Because they will never be able to feel how you feel. And you will never be able to feel how they feel. That's the whole freaking point. So that's why, in my opinion, it's super key to focus on yourself throughout like processes like this, raising your awareness, raising your consciousness of understanding what phases you're going through. So next time you start a task, then obviously make sure you try to identify the problem, right? Like, why are you feeling this way? But don't lose yourself in it. If you followed all the things I said during the call, you're good. You just need to do it. And the last part of doing it becomes super easy once you learn and become aware that you're in the struggle phase. If you tell yourself, hey Bryce, I'm in the struggle phase, man, right? You put on some nice music, you do whatever, and you just flow through it. It becomes way easier. Even laughing at it, right? Like just try to act. First weeks, it will be fucking weird, but then over time, it will become very, very easy. Then the next phase you go through is the high. The high is freaking amazing, so it kind of builds up exponentially. You have a high, and then you have a low. So the high is like the best moment during the task, right? People call it flow state, people call it whatever phrase you do with it, but it's pretty much the high, right? And once you're in the high, freaking enjoy it. Become aware that you're in the high. Say it to yourself as well. Oh man, I'm in the high right now. Then the last part of doing something is pretty much the kind of the finishing phase. And the finishing phase is so important because it sets the tone for every single next thing that you're going to do. What do I mean with this? Let's say you go and have a workout, right? Beginning, you have struggle, then you have the high, and then you go home. Well, while you're going home, don't rush home. Don't go home and be like and jump to the next task because you will be so high in stress and your brain remembers so well what happened in the last part of doing something. There's a whole experiment done by this that actually humans were shocked in water, right? And some people were actually shocked for like 30 seconds at a higher voltage, and some people were shocked at 60 seconds at the same voltage, but the last 15 seconds it was less voltage. This meant that
Mm.
humans want to endure more pain longer if the last part is more comfortable. Fucking weird. I'm gonna try to find a YouTube video. I'll send it over to you guys, but it's a whole experiment. It's also proven. So the takeaway from this is make the last part of what you do enjoyable, right? Let's say you go on a run, you're gonna have the struggle phase, the high, and then the last part, walk it off. Click on your favorite music, talk with a friend, chill out, relax, make the last part of the whole run super enjoyable. So then next time you can easily do it again. So that's pretty much, in my opinion, from my perspective and my experiences, the 3 phases that we go through with starting something, doing something, a task, an experience, anything that we want to do. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then a different aspect to that, to kind of add onto it like shortly, is stress. There's, in my opinion, 2 things in the world: stress and recovery. If your recovery is shit, you will be very prone to stress. If your stress is very high, it's more important to recover, right? Sounds very logical. But the thing is, it's different for everyone. Maybe for me, once I have a meal where I have potatoes, right, with, I don't know, ketchup, right? Then what happens is, for me, it can be very high in stress, right? Carbs or something to do with food or some type of input. This could literally be someone texting me right now and saying, Alex, fuck you, right? Like, I could be very prone to that type of stress, but maybe you would be completely fine with it, right? And this is the whole difference. Everything that people say to you about like, this is stressful or this isn't or whatever, like, try to analyze it for yourself too. So, in my opinion, how it works is compounding stress. Once you wake up at the beginning of the day, right, and you grab your phone, you grab your emails, you grab your WhatsApp, you grab everything, the stress will compound. So how I did it was I kind of like put a pointing system to certain activities and things that caused a lot of stress. So the more points I gave to something, the higher it was in stress for me, right? And other
Mm.
things, the lower it was. But here's the thing. Let's say I have a pointing system of like 1 to 3, 3 being high, 1 being low. Then I grab my phone at the beginning of the day. It's a point of 1, right? So then that could be like -1 or +1 or whatever for stress throughout that day. Then at the end of my day, right? Let's say I would grab my phone again, it would actually not be 1, it would be compounded based on the other things. So it could literally be 10 or 20 or 50 or whatever. So in my opinion, how it works, we have this compounding effect of stress. So the first thing that's super stressful, stress. Second thing, stressful, stress. But like the pointing system gets like doubled, tripled, quadrupled, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, based on how many things we do throughout the day that cause us stress. That's, in my opinion, how it kind of works for me. And this applies for everything. Food, try to do some intolerance tests as well, see how your body actually responds to things. For example, I was eating a sandwich with peanut butter nearly every single morning for like 15 years long of my life. Then I did an intolerance test after being in a biohacking coaching, and I realized that was my biggest intolerance, peanuts. Then I
Mm.
actually quit eating it, and now I ate it again, and the amount of stress and anxiety I get from it, it is mind blowing. Mind blowing. Like my heart races, I feel a big pressure on my chest. So we as humans, like, we ask so many questions and we want to understand why. So let's say I feel stress, I want to understand why. I analyze everything about what's going on, how, what, where, and I look at my surroundings and people around me, right? Meanwhile, it's just the fucking peanuts. So all the answers I thought it was, it really wasn't. That caused a lot of frustration. But then it turned out to be fucking peanuts, right? Like, it can be so simple. So the key takeaway for this is manage your inputs. Please do. Maybe for Andrew here, he can only have 80 inputs every single day. Maybe I can have 200. Maybe someone else can have less or more or whatever, right? Doesn't mean that it's good or bad or whatever, but maybe the amount of inputs that Andrew has, let's say he has 80 maximum every day, maybe those 80 inputs are insanely quality for him. So that means the quality side of things, let's say he gets a very quality input, he gets a super high quality output. But maybe for me, it's to do with the quantity, the amount of inputs I get throughout the day, and then the amount I spit out, right? So this is like different for everyone. I can go super deep into this with human design and personality tests, how to really find this out for yourself. Maybe we'll do it in like one of the next calls. But yeah, key takeaways for you: stress management, that like pointing system, use softwares like these, try to really make specific for your tasks and make it fucking fun, man. Become aware of those 3 phases and just become super aware. Become aware of your feeling throughout doing something, and then it will be very easy to determine in which phase you're in and what's more important. If you're in a high, enjoy it. If you're in a struggling phase, make it more fun, make it more easy, make it more flowy. If you don't get that flow feeling, then find something that you actually like. This could even be food. For example, I throughout the routine that I have, it's a lot of the same things. So sometimes I want to change things up. I'm a person of change. I love change. So for me, as an example, I literally grab my coffee in the morning, and instead of having it behind my desk or in the garden or whatever, I literally had it in the shower. And that's fucking fun for me. It's completely something different. And I don't know why, but I get excited by it. It's something different that people don't do. And that's what I love. So throughout the journey, you will find what you love, different things. I don't know, this is really dependable on you. But just make it fun. Don't have these structures in your mind, these labels and these cohesive, conditionings that people say, where you have to have food, where you have to have this, you don't know. Just do it based on feeling. If you want to have this, do it, right? But become aware
Yeah,
of like what it does with you. So yeah, that's pretty much my little speech. Hopefully it added a little bit of value to you.
yeah, it does. It does.
Awesome, man.
Thank
Do you
you.
have any sub questions or anything deeper about that? Or maybe anyone else here? I mean, I've been talking for quite a while.
I don't personally. No.
All right. Let's see. Anyone else have any questions? Andrew, shoot, man. Oh, Victor, oh,
No,
rock,
no,
paper,
enjoy,
scissors.
enjoy. Just do it.
Just play rock, paper, scissors, man. Let's go. Three, two. Okay, I'll say
You
three,
have
two,
to.
one. I'll say three, two,
Okay,
one, and at one, you both do it.
okay.
3, 2, 1. No, just do it, Andrew. Okay, three,
Okay. I
two,
lost. I lost.
one.
He got a stone. I
Okay.
lost. I lost. Your turn, Andrew. Your turn.
Oh, you're muted, man. You're muted. You're muted, Andrew. You're muted. Unmute yourself in Zoom. Yeah,
All
there you
right.
go.
Okay, here I am. Was I muted
Cool.
earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just like talking to myself in my room. That's really cool.
Probably.
Anyways, what I was about to ask is just a very quick question. When you're first starting a theme page and you're trying to figure out who to follow, like I don't want my theme page like following all these Hollywood celebrities, like
Yeah.
what, or I don't want my theme page following all of my hometown friends from like 15 years
Mm.
ago. So I'm just figuring out like who should I follow just starting out a theme page because I know that
Who do you
judgments.
want to follow?
Well, I want to follow anybody that's related in the music industry. I want it to, pertain to what I'm trying to promote, which is music. So maybe I should look into some singers or some vocalists or maybe guitar players or bands or, like MTV media outlets,
Yeah.
large and small. Do you think that would be a good idea?
100%. Do you know how to find these people?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just look up any music artists of interest or any sort of outlet that
Mm-hmm.
might appeal to you, like maybe like Mojo, Rolling Stone,
Yeah.
or even some of the smaller ones like Soundgeist is one that I check into because they post like some humorous memes and content about music.
Cool.
So yeah, you would say to follow the competitors because we call them
Yeah.
competitors, but I like to think of them more as collaborators because we're kind of all in this industry
100%,
together.
man. I love your perspective. What I would recommend you do is follow 2 people, follow those specific artists, but also follow pages that are like theme pages in the music industry. So you can also
Uh,
see what type of trends they hop on in the music industry too. Indeed, unfollow everyone you don't want to follow, and that's the whole point with what I said all the way at the beginning. When I started this process, I literally like disabled my personal account because I didn't give a fuck about what Sandy was doing tomorrow,
yeah,
but before I did. I watched all their stories. I was like, oh, cool, she's there, you know, and subconsciously you're comparing yourself. And I hated it, you know. And then this theme page thing literally gave me kind of like a reason to just, you know, move that aside. So to come to your question, yeah, do that. Follow like specific artists that you love, unfollow everyone that you don't want, right? And a very easy way to do is go through all the people you follow and make like a sound, right? Be like, huh, or yeah, or whatever, right? It's a very easy way to kind of feel out like who you really want to follow or not.
Yeah.
Then another way to find people, let's say you follow a certain artist, what you will notice if you go to the people they follow, you will find a maze of different people, right? So let's say you go to Eminem, right? Or I don't know, 50 Cent or whoever, right? You go to the people they follow and you can type in at the top in the search bar certain keywords. So you can say coach, guitarist, singer, or whatever, right? Or a specific artist you want to find. So then the list of people they follow shows up. You go into their pages, you can click on suggested page, you can go to their followers. It's a whole rabbit hole, you know? So you just click on
Yeah.
it once, find one person in one niche, go into that niche and, you know, find more.
Yeah, I got one more question to build off that. So,
Totally.
would you recommend like stacking a bunch of follows, or would you rather have that number be progressive? Like
Progressive.
having,
Have like
okay,
10 people that you follow a day.
yeah,
Unfollow also like between 25 to 30 people, 40 people a day, you know, and spread that number out a little bit too. So you do a few in the morning, a few in the evening, a few in the afternoon. So it isn't like in one go because then Instagram will block you. Yeah.
you don't want it to look like 200 followers, or no, you don't want to look like you're following 200 accounts and only have 2 followers, basically.
That as well, right? But like, you know, it's also to do with action items. If you start a new account, there's certain restrictions that you need to keep in. So for you specifically, since you're in a private program too, you can find like this specific table with like how much you can do every day, every month, every minute, every week, every year, with a new account on like this little box. It's in the Instagram Foundation's video. And the thing is, it also stacks up. So let's say you do like 500 in 1 second. That's like a limit to that. So every single time frame has a limit. So a week even has a limit too. So let's say you do like 50 a few hours or 50 a day, right? That's fine. But maybe the limit for the week is 300 and not 350, right? So that's pretty much where you kind of have to feel it out too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Let's go, Victor.
It's nothing specific with the business. I just wanted to give a feedback to I hope I spelled it right, Bryce,
Yeah, Bryce.
because things what you have been talking about and working with this every day. It's I call it the cycle of thoughts. That means what you have described. That means every second we make a experience, and out of this experience we have some thoughts. Out of the thoughts we receive feelings, and out of our feelings we have actions. That means this is a cycle. If you have some struggle situations and you think back this cycle to this thoughts, what was the situation which why do you feel like you feel? Which kind of thoughts do you have? And out of these feelings, you and the actions will follow. That means what make you happy? To think happy, to be happy, to have a happy action. That means every time you have control. And I once heard of a special. It was a special team of soldiers. They told, we have a technique, everybody knows about it. It's just to speak with themselves. That means if they're in a very stressed situation, they go crazy if they just keep thinking. And they have sometimes days where they have no speaking, they do not speak with anybody. And it means your thoughts will kill you if you cannot let them out. That means if you I know one of our English teachers in Germany said if you want to learn to spell th, you need a mirror and then you try it every morning. The. Sometimes you think it's crazy, it's stupid, you're looking quite awful, but it's really working because you see and you improve. And the soldiers, they have speaking days with themselves. When we walk around in a room and speak with ourselves, first of in the first seconds you have the impression you are crazy, but this is what will not make you crazy and will give you the feeling that your thoughts, if you are speaking, you cannot do the same, you cannot think the same time when your mouth is open. So that means to get this cycle back, I think you will not hear it the first time. If you control your thoughts, you control the feelings. But it's for true. How your actions are, these are not the actions, they are your thoughts, and behind the thoughts there's some experience. That means if you have not the right organizations, it is well experience. If you change it, you have a well experience, and then out of that you have a feeling which will give you the positive action. So this is if we understand the cycle, we will never have bad actions because everything is starting here. But before it, there is the experience we are collecting, and out of our mood, of our thoughts, we have our actions. So that means if something is blocking us, we just have to go 3 steps back. And the first is to say, why I have to think this way? Why? What's the reason that I think this way? There's no reason. Never have been a reason to be negative. Never. So that's just
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
small
Yeah, I
feedback.
love your response on that. Love your response on that. Yeah, totally. And that's the whole journey, you know, like going through all these thought cycles. You kind of have to feel out for yourself, at least based on my experience, like which specific experiences in what way really like make you happy. For example, for me, music and foods, that combination makes me so happy. But maybe for you, it's family and talks and food, right? So it just depends on like what you do, how you combine different things. So you, in my opinion, you kind of want to see it like a big science project. Just keep experimenting. You know, over time, you will find certain things that work really well for you, talking to yourself, maybe even writing it out to yourself. I don't know, you know, there's so many different techniques and little tricks that you can do. Then a little something that I want to go a little bit deeper into is called human design. I'm not sure if anyone has heard about it here except Vanishka and probably Brit in the coaching. Anyone else? Oh, Victor, you have all heard of her? Yeah, let's go, man. Oh my God.
I did it last year with a coach to find out
Oh, cool, cool,
because
cool.
I'm working every day with the topic of I don't know how it's in English, resilience.
Yeah,
Resilience.
yeah,
Exactly.
Resilience.
Yeah, thanks.
resilience.
Yeah, it's what I'm teaching, helping children to be
Oh,
stronger in stress situations, and this is what
yeah.
I found out last year with a coach.
Mm. Yeah, it's freaking awesome, man. I'm trying to make like my thingy a little bit different here. There we go.
I'm human design 100.0.
Let's go. So,
Yeah.
I think just based off of like what I know about you, Victor, I think, and this is just like a guess, that for you, I think this part may be colored and one of these. And I'm not sure about like this one here, but I think one of those are colored in. And I also maybe think this one.
Yeah, I will.
One of those 4. Just
I
based off of
will
like
find
what
it out, and I will share it in a few minutes. So keep
Yeah,
going.
let's go, man. Let's go. In the future I will like tell more about this. Human design is like let me just, yeah, how can I explain? It's kind of like a big personality test, but not like a personality test where you say what you like and what you hate, because obviously, you know, it's very based off of your experiences now. I actually like don't like personality tests too much because you really get put in a box with a long X, Y, and Z other people. But you can definitely take away like what common traits that you have. So human design goes like super, super deep into it. So pretty much like each of these little things that you see here at the top, all these squares and like these things all have a meaning. So for some people, their design is completely different than other people. Every design is different, by the way. And it's very likely that you will never find someone that has the exact same one as you, which makes it fucking interesting, right? Because we all are unique. Everyone is unique, their experiences, but also who they are. So it's very funny, like what certain parts you have here, but human design, like the kind of philosophy behind it is that if you live your design, you live a very happy life. I had a childhood up till 2 years ago before I started with this. That was very doubtful, very fearful, very, I didn't give myself recognition, and, it was a lot of fear, and, so much like stuff that really didn't matter. So then for some type of reason, I don't know exactly how or when or where, I got a coach, a Dutch one, that's been living her design and like training and coaching people for like the last 40 years. So she's like 65 or something. And she helped me see things and explain things to me that for me were unexplainable. Like I was very skeptical, I have a personality that when I believe something, I really believe in it and I communicate this, and that's how I sound, right? Also maybe to you guys. So for me, when I came there the first time in her house, like I was pretty skeptical. I'm not gonna lie, like someone being able to tell so many things about me. Then we had the conversation, and she just asked questions, she was just like going through it. And then she literally described me in like 5 minutes, and I was like, holy fuck, how did you do that? Like, what? So from that moment onwards, I was like, holy moly, this shit is real. So then over time, it's not like a big knowledge dump that she did on me, like explaining everything and anything, but it's dissecting each of the things. So in my opinion, based on my journey with this, the best way to apply this is through experiences. So what you do is you first do your design test. It's completely free. I'll send over all the links after the call. Then afterwards, you figure out what each of these little things mean for you, what it means to be colored in or colored out. There's so many resources, but I will dump a Google Drive file that will be filled with this. Then from there, you can learn about it. You can see like which parts for you are like colored in or are not colored in. But the whole goal is to become aware of it. Like awareness, in my opinion, like that's my life goal, to raise my conscious level to like an extreme height. And what's very interesting is that through the experiences, you will then be able to apply what you learned there in the experience. And then obviously an emotion gets added to it. And then it becomes real. It becomes a lesson. Like Victor said as well, we are literally emotional creatures. If a task goes wrong at the end, we remember that feeling. And then the next time we go into it, that feeling is pretty much a determination for like pretty much the whole task. So that's why I said with making it more fun. But it's really, really cool, this. I could tell so much about it and so many complicated things, but honestly, I would like zoom into it for yourself. Like just start with like the text at the bottom too, like what do all these things mean? And the thing is, based on this, you can literally determine what you who you are, but also like what works for you. So I'll just give a brief overview. This first part all the way at the top is your inspiration. This means um all the different things that come into your mind, right? If this is open, that means you're very open to receiving a lot of knowledge and you pick certain things out of it. But people who have this colored in, they're very fixed in the way they get inspiration, right? So they get like information in. And then the second part is pretty much this part. This is pretty much the way they process the information. This happens in a very structural way. For example, let's say for Victor, this is colored in, I tell him something, then that will come into his head and it will go through like a certain filtering process. People who have this colored in also can never stop thinking. They're like 24/7, like, brrr, it's like a radio they can't turn off. Then this thing right here in the middle, just in the top, is your throat. This means your communication. If you have this colored in, you're really good in communication. That's like a natural um, feeling for you. People who don't have this colored in, it's not a natural feeling for them to communicate with people, unless they are with people that have this colored in, which then defines theirs. Then this middle part is your identity. This yellow thing. Identity basically means that it's a G center. That's what it's called. G center basically means that you are very aware of who you are and what you value and what you don't value. So let's say for me, since I have this colored in, if I'm in a group or a setting or a group of people that I'm not meant to be in, that I have a feeling that I dislike, I have the power to say, this is not me, bye-bye, right? And people who don't have this colored in, they're more like comedians, or sorry, how do you say that in English? Chameleon. Braids, do you know that?
Comedian?
Yeah,
You said it
no,
right
not
the first
comedian.
No,
Great.
I don't know. Sorry. No, I don't know.
Shit.
I'll look it up for you. Wait.
Okay, thank you. but pretty much they can adapt to their environment based on the environment they're in. So my younger brother actually doesn't have this colored in. This means in whatever environment he is in, that obviously aligns with him, but he can adapt to that
it says
environment.
chameleon. It says chameleon.
Oh, chameleon.
I don't know.
It's like the animal that can basically like shapeshift, you know, to whatever color that the surroundings are in. Then here on the right is a little mini square is your ego. This means how much you are worth, you knowing how much you're worth. So let's say you have this colored in. There's obviously a way deeper meaning to this, but I'm trying to keep it very brief and overview. This means that if you have this colored in, you know exactly what you're worth. So that means you would probably never work a job that doesn't align with your value. But people who don't have this colored in naturally don't know their value like deeply intrinsically. They probably need to get it told by other people. They need to see some proof. It's not instilled into them. People who have this ego defined are probably like salespeople. 9 out of 10 people we hire, they have this part colored in. Then this part all the way at the bottom is called your sacral center. This means your energy. For me, right now, I have energy. You guys can feel that. And for some people who don't have this colored in, this energy will hit like 2 times as hard for you as it does for me. So then I'm flowing, but like after the call, you're like, and then you crash completely. This is an example for Vanishka. Vanishka doesn't have this colored in. I know it because I have her design. And no worries, Brit. Have a good one. But pretty much for her, all the way at the bottom, like she gets hit like 2 times. So I'm gonna keep it very brief because we can go on and on, but like we don't have enough time. All the way at the bottom left is intuition, all the way at the bottom right is emotional, and all the way at the bottom is root center. Root center means kind of like adrenaline. So let's say you have this colored in, you can work very, very like to the point on things like a long time, and you know, like you have a tendency to be very high in adrenaline that you feel that you need to do a lot of things. And people who don't have this filled in, they don't have that naturally, but they can have the feeling. So the point with human design is not per se learning about your centers that are colored in, but it's about learning from the ones that aren't. The people who have the most amount of not colored in centers, they get conditioned by their surroundings the most. So the trick is that, for example, for me, that I would like do certain things in accordance to the things that aren't colored in, but this wasn't me. The things that are colored in is me, right? So the pitfalls and the learnings are pretty much from the things that aren't colored in. That's kind of the trick, but it goes super deep. I'm not going to dive more deeper into because it will probably confuse the hell out of you. But yeah, I'm curious, Victor, do you have yours?
Yes.
Awesome. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, for sure. You can make an analyze for everybody.
Yeah. I will drop like a big drive folder at the end of the call to in the school. Okay, let's go. Let's see. 4, 6. Interesting. So for you, it's interesting because I did have it wrong a little bit. This part you don't have colored in, which is good. Then your part with the communication is colored in, which is amazing. So this means from here, you communicate very strongly with who you are. That means everything that you say is like naturally aligned to you. This means you would never say something that you wouldn't believe in. Let's just keep it at that. Then here you have intuition. So you have an intuitive feeling for people around you. You can intuitively feel things that people don't. Then here you have this energy. At certain times, you can reflect on this for yourself too. At certain times when you feel like you can like conquer the world, right? Like that moment that you feel that you can absolutely conquer the world, that's when that energy gets activated. That's your true self, right? It's not a peak, what people call it, it's your true self. So when you're probably with me speaking right now as well, maybe like it doesn't feel as the same as you are with me in real life. But what happens is I have these 3 parts linked. This means you can see these bridges and lines, right? For example, you see like the 2, and then you see like the 5, right? And you see like a half a bridge between them. This means the energy is not attached to your identity, and that means it doesn't have a link. So you naturally want to find people, and you get attracted by people who fill that link for you. For example, me, I feel that link for you. That means maybe when you're in the call, I don't know, this is based on your feeling, you feel that you can talk with more energy, or you just feel things more like flowing. I don't know exactly how to describe it because it's your feeling, but in theory of the human design wise, I feel that this gap for you, this one, and you also fill certain gaps for me. That's how people are attracted to each other. It's also with partners, actually. It's very funny. But that's kind of like briefly an explanation. I can go super deep into it, but to kind of like make it according to us, that's how we kind of fill the gaps between us. Do you feel that it is applicable or not?
At the end of the day, I am who I am. You are who you are. This is
Yeah.
it's interesting to talk about such things to learn myself better. But like you described yourself, if I'm in a situation where I don't feel comfortable, bye-bye. If I feel I have to say something, I say. If I feel I will not say anything, I will not say anything. And like I said, I feel if somebody is in common with me or not. So
Yeah.
it might be a nice person in the show off meaning, but deeply you will find it out through a discussion, a speech. You feel it in the voice. You feel it in the way how somebody is
Yeah.
speaking with the whole body. You know, the body language
Yeah.
is very important. So I'm a very selected person. So I don't need thousands of people because
Yeah.
this is not giving me any energy. I need deep reasons for everything I'm doing and I'm speaking about. And if somebody is giving me the feeling that it brings me further in my opinion or in my doings, everybody's welcome. But if you want to talk
Yeah.
about the headline of a football game or so on, this is such
Yeah.
deep as just 2 drops of water. So
Yeah.
it's not interesting for me.
No,
And
totally, man. Totally. And that's the interesting thing. Like for you, that's the case. But there's also people in the world that are completely opposite in terms of that feeling,
yeah,
that like
exactly.
adapt to you, right? And what's also interesting is that like a life question that you will never have to ask yourself is, who am I? Because you know exactly who you are. But experiences will help you move forward and learn new things, etc., etc. But like the key like life question for you, who I am, not relevant. For me, not as well, right? We know exactly who we are, but like our question would be applied to the situation we're in. But at the end of the day, we would never be in a situation because it wouldn't be us. But for other people, like for example, my younger brother, it's a big question that he asks himself, who am I? And learning through the human design makes it more understandable for him that he just accepts, oh, I can just adapt myself to every situation, and I just need to feel if the situation is good for me. So it's very interesting. And yeah, let's finish this off with the big resources that I want to share with you guys, and then let's also do a quick page analysis because we are a little bit over time now. So first of all, I'm going to share with you guys something that is absolutely mind-blowing. So this is called the Gateway Experience, and I'm not sure if anyone has heard of it before, but what it does is it's pretty much an experiment run by the CIA, and this is all to do with like frequencies, right, that you hear. So to kind of make it brief, this is an experimental project that was secret from the CIA in the 1930s and 40s and 50s, and what happened was what they did was they had like soldiers or different people listen to certain audios, right? Certain frequencies that their brain would adapt to. And then it would allow them to have a certain experience. So one of them was that they would be able to like go into or zoom into the place of, for example, enemies. So let's say an enemy was in China or whatever, right? Then they would do this stuff like a meditation, but then through frequencies, and they would be able to put themselves in real time in a position to be able to see behind enemy lines in energy wise. Because the fun thing is, we are all connected. That's the whole weird part about it. We are all connected. It's fucking weird. You can dive into this. You don't have to believe me straight away. Just do your own research, and proof will show that we are all connected. But the interesting thing is, we are all energy. Everything around us is energy. This whole thing around us is all projection of energy. The way I perceive you guys, it's all just energy cells put together. The way my hair is, the way everything is. So the goal with this is to be able to tap into the unconscious and go super deep within the that energy like core that we have. So I can go on and on and on about this, but I just started this. What you do and to make it very applicable for you guys is you basically go through all these files. So you start with wave 1, right? And what you do is you just start with this audio. What you can do if you want to do a lot of research and like a lot of thinking wise, you can read the full manual with everything here. So you can read all the steps, like what each experience is, because each of these files, it has a different meaning. You don't want to start at like the furthest ones, because you first need to sync your own mind to that like frequency. So what happens is our brains can hear certain frequencies, right? And we can't hear certain frequencies too. Same thing with seeing ultraviolet. We can't see ultraviolet. It's a frequency. We can't see that frequency, right? So what happens with the frequency of the sounds during the meditation is that in one ear, it goes in and it's 104 hertz, let's say, right? The other ear it goes in, it's 100 hertz. This means our brain adapts to 4 hertz, the difference between those two. Then our brain is in sync, right? This goes way deeper as well with like the two parts of our brain. We have like one brain that's very logical, one brain that's emotional, and one of them is typically like triggered. The emotional one lets you like just lets everything come to them, but through this like hertz, it syncs both of those together. Believe me, this is all like, you know, rational explanation. Please, I am begging you, try this. Just try this without expectation, without anything. Just try this. What you do is you go into a room completely dark. I would ideally do this between like 10 a.m. and like 3 p.m. when you're like kind of awake. You're not sleepy because you will probably fall asleep if you do it in the evening. Tried it yesterday evening. Did it work? Throughout the day, it did work. Go into a dark room. No one around you. Super important. No one around you. No distractions. No nothing. Put on headphones. Then from there, listen to it, right? And simply just lay down on the ground or in your bed or wherever you feel comfortable and just go into it, right? Don't have super high expectations into it and just follow the audio. And believe me when I say you will have an intense experience. First one you start with is this one, but you only continue once you really feel the experience is deep enough. For example, as in description, right? I did this audio 3 hours ago, the second one. The intention of this audio is for me to be able to feel deeply relaxed and kind of like let my body feel as if it's asleep, but my mind is awake. So this is fucking crazy. It literally felt like that. So my mind was awake, my body was literally, it felt like I was asleep. And then the goal of it is that you are able to remember whatever you want to remember, wherever your attention goes. So during it, I wanted to remember everything about my high school. Then suddenly I was in the high school, literally walking in the high school. I was literally like going through everything like in real time. I was going through the whole building. Like I could remember every detail, you know, the chairs, the colors, like everything. I was just there. Then I wanted to remember a trip that I did 2 weeks ago. It was 2 days. A lot has happened in the trip. So I wanted to see how quick I could like, you know, remember that because it was a lot of diversity. Then I remembered that step by step by step. I got on the train, I got on the bus, I arrived there, I did this, I put my bag down there. It was so strange. This one, the first one was even more strange. Like I saw all sorts of different things. Like I walked in, man, I can't explain this shit. Like what people have with like psychedelic shit, this is that pretty much, but not doing it in like a up and down method, right? Like this is tapping into already what you are, the core, and the psychedelics is just a trigger to be able to get more of what you already have, right? There's certain chemicals that we have in our brain, but the psychedelics get that more or add something in, which causes a cause and effect. But this shit zooms into you. So I can go on and on and on and on about it, but honestly, I'm just going to share the file with you guys. If you want to test it out, start with Wave 1 Discovery, start with this, and just take it slow. Don't have high expectations. Feel good. Don't drink any caffeine, alcohol, etc. before you do it. And test it out for yourself. Really try to commit to it. Really try to let everything go. Don't think about anything. Just flow through it and just share your experience. I am fucking curious because I'm doing this every single day. Only do one a day, by the way. Don't do two a day. And then I just progress when I feel ready for the next audio. There's no rush. It's just an experience. And over time, there's a crazy set of experiences that you can have with these bigger ones because it's all a training, right? So the kind of philosophy of this is that you adapt your brain waves, right? Your frequency to this, right? There's people who've been doing this for like 2 years that literally can see, do, and become more aware of different things than other people. It's really, really strange. So just go on the internet, type in the gateway experience, right? So the gateway experience, this is it. And literally just go into it, right? I'll gateway experience this. Just go through it, right? This is literally the whole CIA. This is literally the CIA website, by the way, right? This is the whole document of the CIA. It's just online. It explains everything from all the meditations, from all the frequencies, what it does, like everything. And it has been scientifically proven as well. And that's what I liked a lot about it. But the thing is, in the 1900s, people weren't ready to be able to accept this shit, right? They were so fixed in, the way they think and everything. And now I feel like people are more like, I wouldn't say waking up, but their intuition and awareness and consciousness is rising, which makes this more applicable. So I'm gonna drop it in the school community after the call. Please let me know what your experiences is about it, and I'll let you guys know as well. Oh, and the last thing is keep a journal. After you do it, write down what you experience because then you will be able to remember the next time better too. Like it's also a practice. It compounds over time. Don't expect the world from it straight away. Commit to it and only move forward when you feel ready. So yeah, those were a few nuggets. Let's go into page analysis and then we'll finish it all off.
Alex, a stupid question. You will share the link where we can find information, or you will share the Google Drive link?
Drive folder, but on the internet, people basically explain the drive folder. So in the drive folder, everything is there with the manual, with all the steps, explaining it, the proof, everything is there. Also the audios. But if you want to like have someone explain it in depth, you can also just go on YouTube and find people who experienced it, right? Let's say you want to find certain experiences of people, type in gateway experience, right? And then you can find experiences. So everything that you need is in the drive folder. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. All right, let's see. Page analysis for, I think, Brighton. Yep, Brighton. All right, let's see. 29 followers. Okay, first of all, take this dot out of your bio. Doesn't add anything. People don't do it. Then make sure you put community and of future with capital letters. Also path to financial freedom, same thing. Then let's see for your videos. Your videos are all over the place. They don't have a specific direction or topic. If you just want to do like viral videos that you put into here, make sure that they are actually very, very viral, right? I'm not sure exactly how viral these are. I explained the VRSA strategy before on my YouTube channel. So I would just recommend you to go back to the YouTube videos all the way at the bottom, how to go viral on Instagram or something. And it shows like how to choose the videos that you want to remake or repost. So that's pretty much my key advice. I would like the reason why you're failing is because of the content and also because of engagement strategies. I'm not sure if you're doing engagement strategies to get some momentum with like your first 100, 200 followers, but that will trigger the views as well to increase to 1,000. Once it's at 1,000, you'll be able to get to 10K very, very easily, which then, it will become easier to go viral. Same thing here. You get 28 views, 25 to 39, etc. And then boom, 1.5K. So simply backtrack this specific content piece. How many views did it get? How many likes? When did you post it? When was it posted originally? And then go through everything. I'm speeding through this, by the way, so since we don't have a lot of time, so just listen back to the advice. So hopefully that made sense. This is your second page. This is where you probably make it all yourself. Are these clips all originally from you or do you repost this, Brighton? Oh, you're muted, man. I think they're from you. Interesting. I would recommend to visit a couple of like the pages in your niche and try to see how you can combine like the videos that you're currently doing because they're doing better in performance than before. Try to combine it with some sort of text, right? An audio, a AI voiceover, like have something of more flair to it. If you want to completely pivot these videos with lifestyle, then try to find like dopamine videos too with people jumping off bridges or whatever. You'll find it as well. And you can combine this in these videos too. Like for example, the first one here, right? Like obviously this is a little bit of luxury, but this is called a dopamine clip, right? This is a clip that goes viral nearly instantly just because it's very interesting. People find it very interesting. That's why we call it high dopamine clips. So yeah, kind of key points. Find pages in your niche, analyze their content, posting similar content, see what they're doing, see where there is a difference, then see what you can add into what you're currently doing, and keep doing what you did with the last 3 clips, the same way of editing, the same similar audio, etc. So then we can analyze it next week again. And stick to 1 post a day. Oh, you're reposting these. Interesting, interesting. I would honestly recommend making them yourself. I'll just see if I have like the new clips. I'm just gonna put my screen sharing on pause here, just so I can open up the Drive folders. Okay, I'm just gonna drop a few in the Zoom chat that you can find. These are just 2 Drive folders, but you can also pay someone on Fiverr to give you clips. So there's 2 Drive folders I shared with like clips that you can use, but I honestly would pay someone on Fiverr to send you clips or something. There's so many people selling clips too, because they have like the most up-to-date ones. We had pages before all of these, so that could help. But honestly, I would pay someone for the clips. But make it also specific what clips you want, and also pay someone who already has a lot of views with the same clips he would share with you, and that just uses clips a little bit differently. So yeah, that's pretty much the advice for you. Let's see, price, page review. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any last questions before we head out?
I think that just about sums it up. Thanks a lot. Very informative, also very entertaining, insightful. I feel like going through a psychological transformation every time we have one of these meetings.
Let's go, man. Let's fucking go. I love that.
No
I love that.
exaggeration. Yeah.
Let's go. Really? Do you feel that way?
Well, I mean, it's definitely more in depth than I imagined. Like I thought we would be strictly talking about social media numbers and Instagram, but I'm surprised at how far in depth you go into with like human nature and habits and tendencies and just ways to develop into like a better overall person. So I'm always coming prepared with my specific questions about social media just to make sure that gets covered.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Love that. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I believe and I feel that what we talk about mostly, a majority of the time, also in the paid community, it's like 99% of it, and then the 1% is all the knowledge and specifics. If you, in my opinion, if you raise your awareness and if you raise like your consciousness of things and stress recovery, etc., and balance, it has such a higher return than being able to make money from Instagram with doing a few specific actions. Because the big question is, why do some people become super successful and why do some people not, right? And in my opinion, it really stems from experiences themselves. Like it's so complex, right? It isn't like described in a few things that you can train over time, but it's true like analyzing, reflecting, seeing who you are, seeing how you go through experiences, like what Victor said as well, going back to the emotion that you felt with certain thoughts as well. And then thoughts create beliefs, or sorry, actions create beliefs, beliefs create identity over time. And breaking those things, like that's pretty much the key in entrepreneurship. Like in a way, entrepreneurs don't even have a fucking identity. You know, they're so adaptable to everything. So that's kind of the thing with it. I really appreciate you sharing that too, because with an Instagram page, it's nothing more than a few actions that you need to do every single day. Do them in a certain way, get reflection and tips from us, implement the tips, and then from there you raise like your awareness of how it all works. That's pretty much like how to go about it, because all these habits and things, those are literally the foundation, right? And that's why a lot of people fail with like different programs. They don't cover this foundation, right? They just say, make a YouTube channel, post this, do that, do that. They don't explain it. They don't explain why. They don't make it relatable to you, which then obviously you fail, right? Because then you get like one stressful week, you don't post, everything goes to shit, and you blame everything and anything except the thing what made you stress, right? And then you go and join a different program and it happens again, right? Like it's a continuous cycle. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that because that's kind of the goal with it too. So
Awesome.
appreciate it, guys. Bryce, you also wanted to share something. I saw you unmuting.
Yeah, I was wondering, so you said those links will be in the school
Yeah,
community,
I'm
right?
gonna share them
Okay,
after the call. Yeah,
perfect.
awesome, man.
I can't wait
And
for that.
I'm gonna make a post as well called Gateway Experience. Please drop all your experiences there. I'm journaling every single day with specific audios and like explaining the experience. But man, I am so fucking excited with those audios. Like, man, the last days, I wanted to listen to everything. I want to get all the experiences, right? Like that excitement. But then you kind of got to contain it and just go through the process and accept that you just go through it step by step. But man, am I excited. Please just share your experiences with it, guys. Commit to it if you want. If you don't feel it's good for you, please don't do it because you will not get the experience that you would get if you really are open to it. But yeah, I'm fucking curious. I'm really curious. So yeah, guys, appreciate the call, appreciate your time, appreciate you being here, appreciate your attention. See you next week. Prepare with calls or sorry, questions or anything that you want to cover then. And the call will be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow, then linked back to the school. I'll make a post about it so you can check it out. So that's pretty much it. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex.
Awesome,
Thank
guys.
you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.